Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. It's really much appreciated. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. Your views and your comments really mean a lot, so thank you for watching. So my name is Sharon. I was formerly known as Living on a Part-Time Income UK. I've done a recent name change, so I'm now the Retirement Edit UK. And this is because it sums up my current circumstances of being semi-retired and making my journey over the next 11 years to full-time retirement. And I talk about on my channel personal finance and my budgets and my personal spending diary. I also feature recipes and cook with me's. I also feature what I buy on Vinted and thrift finds that I find at the charity shop. And if these are things that may take your interest, I would love it if you would stop by and watch my vlog and hopefully subscribe as well. So another thing that I also talk about on my weekly shopping trips to Aldi, Lidl or Marks and Spencer's or Sainsburys. So there's a couple of shopping trips on here as well. So on Thursday I did a trip to Marks and Spencer's with my mum. So without further ado, I'm going to show you the Marks and Spencer's shop. So I'll be back in a mo. Hi everyone. So it's Thursday and it's nearly 1 o'clock. And this morning I took my mum shopping to Marks and Spencer's. If you've not seen my channel before, then I take my mum shopping every other week, generally to Marks and Spencer's. And she very kindly pays for my shopping. I don't always rely on it because there could come a time when my mum isn't going to be able to do this. So I'm very blessed and grateful that she does pay for the bits that I do get. So basically what's on today's shopping list. So I did need some more cheese and the mild cheddar was £2.80. Then the sausages were 2 for £6.50. So my mum had a pack and I had a pack, so that worked out to £3.25 per pack. Singly they are £4. And then the Cornish pasties I thought would be ideal to have with some baked beans, maybe some broccoli or some other vegetable, not sure yet. And these were £3.75. Then I thought I'd pick this up. I've had the little pot, but I'm conscious that some of my sweet treats have been a bit naughty lately, so I wanted to get something that was pretty healthy. So I got the bigger tub of the super fruity black cherry low fat live yogurt. That was £1.95, and then also got some blackberries and they were £3. Then this was a bit of a naughty little treat. I was scrolling Instagram earlier and there was a young lady who had actually made these, and I have had the chocolate button shortbreads cookies from Marks and Spencer's before. So when I saw her video, I thought, I've definitely got to get these. So yeah, got those, and these were £3.10. Then I thought I'd get a little cucumber because I have got some cucumber left. And this is a midi one. And that was 70p. Then I needed some broccoli, and the 10 stem broccoli was £2. And then the avocado pear, which is a ripe ready to eat one, that was £1.80. And then last on the list, some smoked salmon pate, which I love on toast or in a sandwich with cucumber. That's £2.25. So pretty happy with that shop there. Have got worse ways 4 meals there. There's 2 Cornish pasties, and the sausages I would either have in portions of 2s or 3s, depending on what the meal is. So yeah, there's definitely 2 to 3 meals out of the sausages and 2 meals out of the Cornish pasties. So yeah, very happy with that little shop there. So thanks for watching, and I hope you like what I got. Are you tempted by anything here? These are absolutely delicious, and I'm definitely not going to eat more than one a day because they're quite chunky. They really are nice. Highly recommend. So I can report back, those chocolate button shortbreads were absolutely delicious. I'm having one a day. I'm definitely spreading them out because they are such an indulgent sweet treat. And I highly recommend that you either get them, I know they are quite expensive, so the alternative would be to cook them. And if I held sugar and butter for baking, I most probably would make them myself. But I think by the time I buy the butter and buy the sugar, it works out one of the same for me to, you know, get the shortbreads. Because I don't really use sugar at all, hence why I don't really bake very often, to be perfectly honest. I used to more so when the boys were at home, but now it's just me. I don't really tend to do baking, hence the sweet treats on the shops. So on Friday I went to Sainsbury's and I did a very small shop in Sainsbury's, and on Thursday afternoon I've been doing a bit of a declutter, which I do kind of talk about in the Sainsbury's part of the vlog, so I won't repeat myself, you can listen to that, and that kind of explains why I did go to Sainsbury's. So let's see what I got on my Sainsbury's trip. Hi guys, so it's Friday morning and I've just returned from Sainsbury's, and I basically went to Sainsbury's because I wanted to get the Febreze smellies, and I did cupboard declutter yesterday. I basically moved all of my coats and my coat rail up to my spare room, and I also moved a couple of bags that had things in them that can go in the spare room, and then I brought some things down from the spare room and put them into the cupboard downstairs. So the downstairs cupboard doesn't no longer feel so cluttered up, and because it can be prone to damp, I really didn't want my clothes in there anymore. So now that spare room has been redecorated, it was ideal just to put the rail up there. And when I bought the rail, I also bought a see-through cover, so that's over the coats now. But basically the reason why I wanted to get the Febreze smellies is because I've had them before. They're really good and they're ideal in a cupboard space because they give you protection towards odour as well. and freshness. And they were also on a nectar price when I was Googling yesterday. Basically, you can buy 3, 4, £6, whereas they're normally £2.50 each. So I can put one in the cupboard, one in the bathroom, and I've got one spare for the cupboard when that new one obviously runs out. So let's see what else I got. So firstly, I got the giraffe bloomer. I didn't get a bloomer loaf in Marks and Spencer's because they didn't have a little one. And then the giraffe bloomer from Sainsburys was £1.20. Well, the one that I get in Lidl is £1.15. And I thought, you know what, I may as well just get this one here. So I did. And then onto the Febrezes. Again, I highly recommend these. They've got a long staying power and they are ideal in cupboards as well. And these were £2.50 each, but with the nectar discount, I got £1.50 off. So 3 for £6. Then I saw Sharon's vlog and I saw that she got a pasta bowl. And I thought, you know what, let me have a look around the crockery section. And I was so happy to get one as well. And this one was half price. So it was £3.50 originally, £1.75 off. So really happy about that. I have already got a pasta dish bowl, but obviously if one of my sons comes round or a friend comes round and I'm cooking pasta, it's just nice to be able to serve both of our dishes up in pasta dishes. So very happy with that for £1.75. And thanks to Sharon at Living on a Low Income for giving me the heads up on this. And then next on the list was some baked beans, and they are on an Aldi price match, so they were 40p. And then I always look out for jackets in Sainsbury's because they do some really nice size ones as well. So I was very happy to get these two, and both of them came to 82p. I thought that was an absolute bargain. That's 2 meals there basically, for them to stand in 41p each, with beans as well, 20p each. You know, I've got a meal for 60p, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And if I want to add cheese, I'll add another 20p on as a serving. You know, I've got a full evening meal there for 80p. Can't go wrong. And then next on the list is a sweet potato, which is 32p. So I bought 8 items in total, and the balance was £10.49p. So yeah, very happy with that little Sainsbury's shop. And I have gone over my weekly budget because I had spent £30 on Monday in Lidl's. So this is going to come out of next week's budget, because after doing a Marks and Spencer shop as well, I really don't foresee me doing any big shops next week. So I'm more than happy for this shop budget to come out of next week's budget. Yep, so thanks for watching. And has anything inspired you here to get? I always highly recommend getting jacket potatoes. You know, they are nutritious, especially if you eat the skin. And, you know, to get a jacket for 40p, I think it's just amazing price. So thanks guys for watching. Yes, so very happy with those few items there. Like I did say, that amount that I spent will come out of next week's shopping budget, because I don't anticipate doing a big shop at all. I would only need to possibly get some little top-up bits. I haven't got a list of anything that I need as such, and I'll definitely be using up the jacket potatoes next week. I've got plenty of pasta, couscous, rice and meats and fish in the freezer. So yeah, I don't really anticipate doing a big shop next week. So I have had a little bit of a rethink regarding my monthly budget moving forward. Now, if you're a regular viewer, then you may well know that a couple of months I did a vlog regarding my grocery shopping, and it was how I budget for it. And I think it was titled, "You don't have to wait till payday with doing your budget for your weekly shopping this way." And what I basically did was I budgeted a monthly amount for groceries, but then split it up over 5 weeks. So regardless of when payday falls, I would always have money for my grocery shopping. And it had currently been £130, which was £30 a week for 3 weeks and £20 a week for 2 weeks. And the £20 a week kind of coincided when I was going to Marks and Spencer's with my mum. But I have revised the amount in line with this new revision of my budget. And basically what I've decided to do is have my monthly spending again broken down over weekly amounts over 5 weeks. So my new budget is now going to be £30 a week for groceries and £30 a week for spending. So this will be over a 5-week period. So again, it won't matter when my payday comes, because basically £30 a week for groceries and £30 a week for spending will be paid into my bank account that my credit card comes from. So £60 a week will always be in there to pay for everything that I've done for the shopping for that week. So if I run out earlier, you know, a few days before, then I have to wait until that money hits the bank account. I have set up a standing order from my bank for those monies to be paid in every week, and I've decided to do it on a Saturday because that coincides nicely with how the spending breakdown is for the credit card categories. They're every Monday. So if I did do a payment on my credit card on the Saturday, then it should clear by the Tuesday. So that will show up nicely on the spending categories broken down. So for me, this is going to work out a lot better. Rather than me having a monthly budget amount and thinking, right, I'm going to put that amount into train fares, or I'm going to put that amount into maybe eating out with friends. If I have a weekly budget, I think it's going to just help me a lot better, because then I can use any money that I've got in my weekly spending. If I'm going out on a Sunday afternoon, for example, I do go out for Sunday lunch maybe once a month. I also catch up with friends maybe once or twice a month, and we might have a fish and chip takeaway. And then also that money will also pay for my train fare when I visit my son and granddaughter. And for me, having that as a weekly amount I know that I can obviously up my grocery budget a little or decrease it depending on my spending for that week. If I've eaten out a lot, then I might actually only spend maybe £20 a week on groceries and £40 for spending. If I've, say for example, gone out with my son and granddaughter and we have a nice lunch out and I've gone in the charity shops, you know, sometimes that week tends to be a bit spending heavy, but then I can mark it down, you know, with the grocery spends. But overall, my weekly allowance is going to be £60 a week, 30 for groceries roughly, £30 for spending, and I'll adjust it accordingly as I go along. So yeah, so that's my budget edit. And I've also decided as well that the £55, which I said was going to be my buffer, because I've slightly increased my groceries and slightly increased my monthly spending, I'm not going to have a buffer now, because I think working week by week is sufficient enough funds in there for me to live on. And if I don't have money for something one week, I can wait until the next week to get it. And the buffer will be more served purposely into my savings. So I'm going to save my little pension that I get, which is approximately £70 a month, add that to my buffer, and I'll have £125 a month going into my high interest savings account every month. And I'm going to use that for birthdays, and also I'm going to use it for my annual expenses such as my boiler insurance, my house insurance and my Google storage. So that will be more than sufficient to cover that. And also it will cover special events like my trips to London with Sharon, for example, from Living on a Low Income UK. We do trips in summer and at Christmas, and also Mother's Day as well. And if I want to take my mum out for, you know, a nice meal. So that fund there of savings will cover all of that which I've just mentioned. So that's how I'm going to move forward. I've automated the weekly payments from one bank account to the other for my groceries and my weekly spending, so I don't have to worry about doing transfers. And I've also set up a standing order when the pension comes in, so that goes directly into the savings. And I will just transfer the £55, which was initially the buffer but now going into savings. I'll just pay that in once a month when I get paid. And then the other money from when I get paid goes to another account for all my utility and housing costs. And yeah, I'm pretty much good to go. Everything's all automated and taken care of practically. So yeah, that explains how my budget is going to be moving forward. It's really worked for me regarding the weekly groceries. I found having everything on a 5-weekly basis works really well. If I find that there is just 4 weeks within the month, then I'll have a slightly higher grocery and weekly spending. It will actually be £75 a week over 4 weeks, but over 5 weeks it's £60 a week. So very happy with these adjustments that have been made. It means that I'm going to be saving regularly. I will have a nice amount every week. If I run out, I run out. If there's money left, it can just roll over and it will be more for the next week or the next week. So I will kind of review that as I go along to see how that's going and how I might want to manage it. So another thing that I thought I would give you feedback about is my recent Vinted purchase. So I did mention in my previous vlog that I'd ordered a Mountain Warehouse rain jacket, and it was £8 with the buyer's fees and the postage. It came to £11.29, and I actually collected that Friday afternoon. So when I actually opened it up, it virtually looked brand new without tags. The buyer had said it was in very good condition, and it was. I was very, very happy with it. I had sized up as well, because from trying on Mountain Warehouse jackets when I was in Norfolk, I realised that if I ever did get one from that company, I would need to size up. So I'm very pleased I did. And here is a picture of it. So it's navy, and it's got drawstrings around the waist if I want to adjust it. It's got drawstrings just above the knee, and very happy with it, because I know from looking at the Mountain Warehouse website earlier on, prices for rain jackets are in excess of £50 to £60 upwards, going into the hundreds and 200s. So I was very happy with that. It's not me making any kind of style statement with this jacket. It's just going to be a functional item in my wardrobe for when I do autumnal or winter or spring walks, and I need something to shield off the rain, but it's mild, because it hasn't got a lining. I purposely didn't want a jacket with a lining, because I can wear a fleece gilet underneath if I want to, or a sweatshirt, and that'll be adequate. So very, very happy with that. I thought £11.29 was a really good bargain, and yeah, I highly recommend going on Vinted if you need any particular items, especially coming up for autumn and winter. You know, you can get some really good bargains which are in very good or brand new without tags, or brand new with tags, for a fraction of what you pay in the shops. So I'm going to wrap up my vlog for today here. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know if you've got any thoughts and opinions on what I've been discussing, especially regarding the budget side of things. Is this how you do your budget? Do you work on a weekly budget? Do you work on a monthly budget? Let me know what works for you. And are you thinking of going on Vinted to buy anything for autumn and winter? I'd love to know. So thanks so much for watching. And if you do like my channel and you haven't already subscribed, would you please consider subscribing? It would mean so much to me. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye everyone. Bye.